Welcome to River University, the home of the Fighting Fish, where we teach you how to play better poker. This is my special guest, student Chris Gungon.
Hello.
And I'm poker pro Dave Larson, and today we're going to talk about a crazy fold that a player made in a hand that I played in a poker tournament today, and talk about why that was probably not the best idea. So, Chris, you play some poker.
Some poker, yes.
Would you consider yourself a math whiz at poker?
No.
No. Okay, so today we're going to look at one of the basic things about counting your outs and doing the math behind how many outs you need to make a call or make a fold. All right, ready to go?
Let's go.
So today, the hand I played came from a $400 WSOPC event in the Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. We're about halfway through the day, about half the players are gone. Blinds right now are 500,000 and 100, and I'm not in very good shape. I have about 18,000 chips.
Okay.
And this guy over here on the left has a lot of chips. He's been opening a lot of hands. He goes to 3,000, and the guy in seat 1 calls him, and the guy who's new to the table also calls him for 3,000, and I have ace-queen offsuit. So ace-queen's a pretty good hand. I'm kind of desperate. I'm definitely not folding. And I think at this point, I'm just going to go all in, because if I call and miss, then I'm in a kind of a bad spot. If I raise and they all fold, I pick up 9,000 chips. It's a pretty good situation.
Yeah.
And if they call me, ace queen's pretty good. You know, this guy opens a lot. This guy calls a lot. I'm not necessarily behind. So I decided to raise. But usually when I raise, I just say all in. This time I just said 17,500.
Okay.
Which is what I thought my chips were. And I put my chips out, turned my hand over, and the guy on the button called, and he had pocket queens. And I'm like, oh, shoot. This is going to be my last hand. The dealer dealt out the flop, ace on the flop. Good news.
Awesome.
Then the dealer counted out my stack, and we found out that I didn't have 18,000 chips. I had 17,500.
How dare you not know how to count? This is about counting and math. How did you
I
not
know. So I counted wrong. Well, the thing is, I was in the small blind, and I forgot to count the small blind.
Oh, okay.
So I was off by 500. So flop comes out, we count the stack, I still have 500 left. I bet 500. My opponent sees the ace on the flop, sees that he's behind, and he folds.
What an idiot. Why? even I know not to fold something. You already have so much money in there, though. Why would you fold? Really? 500 and then you...
Yeah.
Okay.
So today's class is trying to figure out, like, what is the right price that you should call in order to not make a dumb fold like this player did. Okay?
Okay.
Math behind draws.
Okay.
Right? So he knows he's behind, right? But what you do is you count your outs.
What are outs?
What are outs? Okay. He's behind, but he could still win.
Okay.
How could he still win?
If you get another queen in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the only way he can win.
Yep.
Right? How many queens are left?
One left.
So he has one out.
Okay.
Okay. So you count your outs. You turn your outs into odds. How likely are you to hit the cards that you need? And then you take those odds and multiply it by the bet size.
Okay.
Now we're into the math part. And then you just compare. If that's more, you call. If it's less, you fold.
Okay.
All right? Counting your outs. Outs are the cards that you need to improve yourself to a winning hand. Here are some common situations you could be in where you're probably behind.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you, how many outs do you think you have? So you have a pair of threes, ace, 10, 6. You need to get a set to win.
Okay.
How many outs do you have?
I still have 2.
Exactly. You got it right. You're 100% so far. You got a gut shot. 7, 6, 5, 3. You hit a 4, you make your straight. You assume he's got a 10. He's got you beat. Your 7 and 6 aren't any good. How many outs you got?
You have 3, 4, 5. There are 4 fours left that we
Exactly.
can't see, so
there
4.
are 4 outs. Perfect. You're perfect so far. You got a pair, and you want to get 2 pair or 3 of a kind.
Wait, pair of 2.
I got a pair of 5s here.
Okay.
And it's ace, jack, 5. So I can either get another 5 or another 6. And
For
I
you
can
to
beat
win.
somebody who's got ace, king, or ace, queen.
Okay. So there's 2 5s left out there. So there's 2 plus 3 6s. So there's 5.
Exactly. You're doing great.
Cool.
Okay. 2 overcards. You got king, queen, and the flop is all low cards.
So you still have 3 queens and 3 kings.
Exactly.
Or you can also go for the Jack 10, possibly.
Well, sure. Those are called backdoor outs. If you get like 2 outs in a row, that's called a backdoor out. But here, you're just going to look for the king and the queen.
The pair, okay.
Right? So your
6.
pair outs are 6. All right. Next one, you've got 9-8, and it's Jack 10 on the board.
So you can either go for the straight going forward, which is a queen.
Yeah.
Or the 7 from behind.
Right.
So there's 4 of each. So
Right.
there's 8.
Exactly. Opening it straight out, 8 outs.
Okay.
Flush draw. Jack 10 of diamonds. It comes ace, 8, 4, 2 diamonds.
Okay, if I was going for a flush.
Exactly.
13 cards. Minus 4 already in there, so there'll be 9 left.
Perfect.
All right. Okay.
You're doing really good. And then open-ended straight flush draw. This is the mother of all poker draws. You've got Jack 10 of diamonds, and it's ace, 9, 8, 2 diamonds. You can hit a diamond. You can hit a straight. How many outs is that?
A straight or a flush is what we're looking for.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So same thing. We still need 9, right?
So there's 9 flush cards, but you can also get a straight.
I can also go for straight. So 8, 9, 10, Jack. So 6, 3 queens. Sorry, 4 queens, 4 sevens.
Yep.
So that's 8.
Right?
8 of them plus there's 9, so 17.
But
Okay.
one of the queens and one of the sevens are also diamonds. So you don't want to count them twice.
So only 15.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you got your 9 flush cards, you got your 3 queens that aren't diamonds, you got your 3 sevens that aren't diamonds. That's one of the best draws you can have in No Limit Hold'em, and that is 15 outs.
I was like, how often does even a straight flush come out of nowhere?
Well, it's hard to get a straight flush, but you can often draw to a straight or a flush. And so you often have like 15
James
outs.
Bond movie, I'm just saying.
That's true. Casino Royale.
Mm-hmm.
You've done a great job of knowing how many outs you have.
Okay.
The next thing to figure out is how likely is you're going to hit one of those outs. So we're going to convert your outs into opts.
Okay.
All right. So there's a couple different methods you can use to do that. The most basic method is called the rule of 2 and the rule of 4.
Okay.
You've got 2 cards in your hand. There's 52 cards in the deck, so there are 50 cards left.
Yep.
Right? 1 out of 50 is 2%.
That's correct.
Yeah, if you want to make it a percentage, you multiply by 2. Right? So it'll be out of 100.
That's true.
Right? So if you've got 4 outs, 4 times 2 is 8. That's what you use on the turn. You use the rule of 2 because you only have 1 chance to hit your out. And if you're on the flop, you're going to have a turn and a river. You're going to have 2 chances to hit your out. So on the flop, you use the rule of 4.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
So if you're drawing for a flush, remember we know where 4 of the cards of the suit are. So there's 9 cards that we need. Right?
True.
So 4 times 9 is 36% chance of hitting your flush.
4 cards times 9 that you... Oh, sorry.
9
Rule
outs.
of 4. Rule
Yeah.
of 4 times the 9 outs that you need. Oh, okay. 36. Okay.
36% chance.
Okay.
Let's say you've got 2 overcards. You want to hit a pair.
2 overcards. You wanted to hit a pair.
Mm-hmm.
Overcards.
Yeah.
Is it?
You've got king, queen, and it's like 5, 4, 3. You want to hit a king or a queen.
Oh. Then you... 3 and 6. So 6 times 4, 24.
So it's a 24% chance on the flop that you're going to hit your pair.
Okay.
So that's how the rule of 2 and the rule of 4 work. If you're on the turn, you multiply by 2 because you only have 1 card to come.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that is a good basic rule. It's not as accurate as the second rule, but I'm going to call the 45 and 44 rule.
Subtract from 44 or 45 rule. Okay, explain.
Okay, so this one is, there's 50 cards in the deck, but there's 3 cards on the flop, and there's probably 2 cards in your opponent's hand that you're not counting as your outs.
Okay.
So instead of starting from 50, we're going to start from 45. Sometimes I use 44 because the math is just easier. So if I've got 9 outs, and I'm going to do 45 minus 9, 36.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so I've got 36 bad cards, 9 good cards. It's 4-1 against hitting my out.
Ah, okay.
If I've got 10 outs, I'll use 44 because the math is a little bit... Well, it's not too bad either way. 45 minus 10.
35.
35, 3.5 to 1 against. If you're on the flop, you get twice as many. So you just multiply by 2. You get twice as good a chance of hitting.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And the third thing you can do...
That's actually a lot easier to actually do in your head, especially when you're actually on the game.
Yeah, I find that easier to do in my head. And also, I find it easier to work with the odds versus the percentages, because if you work with the percentages, you have to say, okay, well, what's 36% of my pot? And that's harder to do in my head than it is for me to say, okay, well, I've got 3.5. What's 3.5 times his bet? That I can do in my head a lot easier than 36%.
True, and it's a little bit difficult using your cell phone on a calculator while you're actually playing poker.
But you're not allowed to touch your phone when you got cards.
That's very true as well.
You can do this at home playing online if you want. You can type really fast, but in the live tournament, you're stuck. All right. And the third thing you can do is what I did when I first started playing, is you can just get a chart and just study and get the more precise answers. Right. So here's a chart here you can use. Those of you who are watching, just take a screenshot or copy it down or find your own chart. Once you know your odds, then you multiply the odds by the bet size, and that helps you decide if you want to call or if you want to fold. So going back to our friend with the pocket queens.
Okay.
He has one out.
Yes, because you already have one, and we only are missing one more from the 4.
Exactly. And there's no way he can make a straight. There's no way he can make a flush. His only way to win is to get that last queen, right?
Correct.
Right. So we know 7 of the cards in the deck. So we're going to use the rule of 45 here.
Okay.
Right? 44 cards are not queens, and 1 card is a queen.
That's correct.
So the odds are 44 to 1 against, but we get to do it twice. So it's 22 to 1 against hitting a queen, right?
Odds are 44 is to 1, so we divide it by 2. It's 22.
It's 44 to 2.
44 to 2, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 22 is 2. Okay. Yeah.
22 to 1. So my bet was 500. So multiply 500 by 22, you get 11,000,
Yeah.
right? The pot at this point, I went all in for 18,000. He called 18,000. There's 3,000 from this guy, 3,000 from that guy, a bunch of antes. There's a big blind. The pot itself is 43,000. Is that more or less than 11,000?
That is a lot more than 11,000.
A lot more than 11,000. So he should call, because anything up to 11,000 he can call profitably.
Yes.
Okay. So that's how you're going to use your odds to figure out when to call and when to fold.
Here's a realistic question for you
Yeah.
on that end. Sometimes when people are just on the moment and are betting against you, and
Yeah.
let's just say it's just not 2 players, it's like 4 or 5 of you,
Right.
and the pot is just enormous at that point.
Yeah.
Do you just ask the dealer how much the pot is, and then you calculate at that point, or how do you go about
You got to
that?
keep a running total as it's going along. So when somebody raises, I know how much that is. I know how many people call. And in my mind, I'm always doing a tally, because I always want to know how much is in the pot, because that tells me when it's a good call or a bad call, when I have the odds and when I don't.
So that's why we have a lot of people actually, when I'm playing poker, just asking, how much is the pot right now? That's what they do.
Yeah, they spread the pot. Now, if you're playing pot limit, the dealer can tell you. But if you're playing no limit, you have to keep track of it on your own.
Wow. Okay. That makes
Right.
more sense for me. Yeah. Okay.
I think you did a really good job at figuring out how to count your outs and figure out if you've got the right price to call. But it's the first time you tried it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we need to do some practice, because when you get to the table, you don't want to be like, hang on a second, let me get up my notepad and, carry the 1 and whatever. Okay?
That's still probably going to happen one way or the other.
Well, yeah, but, the more you practice, the better you'll be. And so I'm going to give you some similar questions like the one we went over today for you to try at home, because it's River University and we do homework. Okay, well, then the people you're playing who did their homework are going to take your money.
Okay, I will try to do this homework.
Okay.
I will try.
So, in the first question there, if I had 5,000 chips left instead of 500, and he still got pocket queens, is it a good call or a bad call? Okay?
I think I have an answer, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, hopefully you have the right answer, but you want to practice the technique.
I'm wrong? Are you kidding me?
Well,
I don't know.
it's hard
Don't
to be
answer that
perfect all the
question.
time.
Don't answer that question. Don't answer that question.
Question 2. Hero bets 5,000, but the flop is now ace of hearts, 6 of hearts, 9 of diamonds. And instead of having pocket queens, we're going to change the hand so that it'll change the number of outs we have. Because in pocket queens, you only had that one last queen. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so hand number 1, 10, 9 of clubs. That means that he's got a pair of 9s, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my ace queen is still ahead, right? And number 2, 6, 5 of spades, ace 10 of diamonds, king queen of hearts, so he's got a flush draw there, and 10, 8 of hearts, who's also got a flush draw, but in addition to the flush draw, he can make a straight. All right? You look confused.
No, I think I'm following. Go on.
So a few days from now, I'll post a video with the answers to this homework for those of you who are trying at home. If you want to make sure you see the answer, subscribe to the channel. And if you've got other questions you want to see me talk about or other topics in tournament poker that you have questions, you can ask me in the comments or you can find me on Twitter at River University.
Press the button below.
Press the button.
Subscribe.
All right.
And tell me the answer.
No cheating. No cheating.
Hey. I don't need to cheat.
All
Just
right.
tell me the answer.
All right. We're watching the video that we're actually in while we're editing the video we're in.
And we are trying to figure it out.